How the middle class stays broke and doesn't even know it. Imagine two people graduating from school on the same day. Both are told the same thing. Study hard, get a good job, work hard, save money, and one day you'll be financially secure. Sounds like solid advice, right? But what if I told you that millions of hardworking people followed that exact plan and still ended up financially stressed? Not because they failed, not because they were careless, but because they were playing a game with rules they never fully understood. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people believe they're moving toward financial freedom when they're actually moving deeper into a trap. And the reason it's so dangerous is because the trap doesn't look dangerous. It looks normal. In fact, society often celebrates it. Let's see how it works. A person gets their first decent paycheck. They feel proud. They've worked hard for this moment. Then comes the first upgrade. A nicer apartment, a newer car, a few luxuries they couldn't afford before. Nothing extreme, nothing irresponsible. Just small improvements. And that's exactly how the trap begins. Because every upgrade creates a new monthly obligation, a new payment, a new expense, a new financial commitment. At first, these commitments seem manageable. But over time, something strange happens. The person's income rises, yet their financial freedom doesn't. They're earning more money than ever before, yet they're still waiting anxiously for the next paycheck. Still worrying about bills, still feeling pressure. And they can't understand why. Because nobody told them a secret about money. The more your lifestyle grows to match your income, the harder it becomes to escape the cycle. And most people never notice it's happening until years have passed. But here's the really dangerous part. The trap isn't finished yet. Because the next stage is where many people unknowingly trade freedom for comfort. And that's where things become much more expensive than they realize. When most people think about wealth, they picture what wealth looks like. The nice house, the luxury car, the expensive watch, the designer clothes, the dream vacation. And that's exactly where the second stage of the middle class trap begins. Because many people spend years chasing the appearance of financial success without ever building the foundation underneath it. Think about it. If you saw two people standing side by side, could you immediately tell which one was actually wealthy? Probably not. Because real wealth is often invisible. You can see a car. You can see a house. You can see expensive clothes. But you can't see someone's savings account. You can't see their investments. You can't see their assets quietly growing in the background. And that's where many people get confused. They start measuring financial success by what they can show instead of what they own. So they upgrade, then upgrade again and again. Each purchase feels like progress. Each new possession feels like proof that they're moving forward. But sometimes what feels like progress is actually financial quicksand. The more expensive your lifestyle becomes, the more income it takes just to maintain it. And suddenly, you're not working to build wealth. You're working to support the lifestyle you've created. Now here's something most people never think about. Imagine two friends. Both earn the same salary. One spends nearly every extra dollar improving their lifestyle. The other spends part of their income buying assets, investing, and building savings. For a while, the first person looks more successful. Better car, better gadgets, more visible signs of wealth. But then something interesting happens. 5 years pass, 10 years pass. The gap starts growing. One person owns things, the other owns assets. One person's purchases create more bills. The other person's purchases create more opportunities. And eventually, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. This is why some people work hard for decades and still feel trapped. because they confuse consumption with wealth creation. But the trap goes even deeper. There's one final stage that quietly affects millions of hardworking people, and once it takes hold, many begin living with a level of financial stress they accept as normal. The scary part? They often don't realize how much freedom they've given away. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. Now, we've reached the most dangerous part of the middle-class trap. And unlike the earlier stages, this one isn't about money, at least not directly. It's about freedom, because most people don't realize that every financial decision either increases their freedom or decreases it. Let's go back to the person we talked about earlier. They have a good job, a decent income, a nice car, a comfortable home. Everything looks successful from the outside. But beneath the surface, a different story is unfolding. The car payment needs to be made. The mortgage needs to be paid. The subscriptions renew automatically. The insurance bill arrives. The credit card balance is waiting. And suddenly, something strange happens. Their lifestyle begins demanding their paycheck before they've even earned it. Month after month, year after year. And that's when many people discover something uncomfortable. They don't own their lifestyle owns them. Think about it. If you lost your income tomorrow, how long could your current lifestyle survive? A year? 6 months? 3 months? A few weeks? For many people, that question is frightening. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they've slowly built a life that depends on every future paycheck arriving exactly on schedule. And that's where financial stress comes from. Not necessarily a lack of income, a lack of breathing room, a lack of flexibility, a lack of options. This is why some people earning 6 figures still feel trapped, while others earning far less feel surprisingly secure. One person has income, the other has freedom, and freedom is often the real goal. Because freedom means choices. Freedom means opportunities. Freedom means not having to panic every time life throws an unexpected challenge your way. Now here's the good news. The middle-class trap isn't permanent. The moment you recognize it, you begin seeing money differently. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Will this move me closer to freedom or further away from it?" That's a completely different question, and it leads to completely different decisions. Maybe you save more. Maybe you invest more. Maybe you delay certain purchases. Maybe you focus less on looking successful and more on becoming secure. Small decisions. But over time, small decisions create very different futures. Let's go back to those 2 people from the beginning of this video. Same education, same opportunities, same starting point. One spent years building a lifestyle. The other spent years building freedom. 10 years later, their lives look completely different. Not because one got lucky, not because one worked harder, but because one understood something the other didn't. Money isn't just a tool for buying things. It's a tool for creating options. And the people who understand that often discover something many others never do. The goal isn't to impress people. The goal is to reach a point where money causes less stress, creates more opportunities, and gives you greater control over your life. That's what real wealth looks like. Not the car, not the watch, not the house. The freedom. So before you make your next financial decision, ask yourself one simple question. Am I building a more expensive life, or am I building a freer one? Because the answer to that question may determine where you are 10 years from now.